Hello there, dear friends. Welcome back to Meaningful Living, where we believe that every old item, whether it's a rusty mailbox, a chipped teacup, or a forgotten ladder, has the potential to bloom again. If you're anything like me, you find joy in the little things. The feel of warm soil in your hands, the soft rustle of leaves on a breezy afternoon, and the magic of turning junk into beautiful treasures. Our journey today is all about garden upcycling ideas, creative ways to transform everyday objects into charming DIY garden decor that's both budget-friendly and full of heart. From upcycled garden projects to recycled garden ideas, you'll discover how even the simplest items can breathe new life into your outdoor space. Whether you have a sprawling backyard or a cozy balcony, there's always room for a bit of magic. We'll explore small space garden ideas, backyard ideas for seniors, and senior-friendly garden tips that make gardening easier and more joyful, even if your knees don't bend quite the way they used to. And the best part? These projects aren't just about adding beauty, they're about adding memories. Each item you upcycle, each rusty gate you paint, or each bottle you turn into a wind chime, carries with it a story. It's gardening with limited mobility in mind, focusing on the simple joys and gentle projects that bring light to your day. So, pour yourself a cup of tea, settle into your favorite chair, and join me as we walk through 35 soul-soothing ideas to upcycle old items into lasting joy. Together, we'll create a garden that isn't just full of flowers and greenery, it's full of life, love, and endless stories. Inviting garden entrances. First impressions matter, don't they? That very first step into your garden, it's like the first page of a treasured book. It whispers promises of beauty, warmth, and gentle moments yet to come. And what better way to begin that journey than with a welcoming entrance crafted from the pieces of your own history? Let's breathe life back into those forgotten items and make them the first smile that greets you and your guests. 1. Blooming mailbox welcome. There it stands, an old, weathered mailbox, the paint chipped from seasons of rain and sun. For years, it held letters from friends, holiday cards, and handwritten notes filled with love. Now, it waits patiently for its next chapter. With just a touch of paint and a bit of creativity, that humble mailbox can bloom again. Start by giving it a fresh coat of cheerful color, sunflower yellow, sky blue, or even a soft sage green. Drill a few drainage holes at the bottom, add a layer of potting soil, and fill it with bright petunias, trailing ivy, or cheerful pansies. As the flowers spill over the edges, that old mailbox becomes something entirely new. A greeting of color and life, right at your doorstep. Place it near your gate or on a small table by the entrance, where it can smile at every passerby. It's more than just a mailbox, it's a blooming invitation that says, "Welcome, come in. There's beauty here." 2. Timeless wreath of memories. Wreaths have a way of capturing the essence of time, don't they? Each branch and blossom woven together like memories, preserved and celebrated. Imagine crafting a wreath that changes with the seasons, a living memory of your garden's journey. Start with a simple frame, perhaps an old embroidery hoop or a wire hanger bent into a circle. Gather dried lavender, eucalyptus sprigs, pine cones, and maybe even herbs you saved from last summer. Secure them gently with twine, layering each piece with care. In the spring, you might add pastel blossoms and fresh sprigs of rosemary. For summer, bold sunflowers and daisies could take their place. As the air cools and autumn arrives, replace them with golden leaves and dried wheat. Hang it on your front door where the breeze can catch its scent, and let it whisper to every visitor, "This is a place where life is cherished and memories bloom." 3. Bold house numbers with heart. There's a certain comfort in finding your way home, isn't there? Especially when the path is marked with something familiar and welcoming. Bold house numbers, large and beautifully crafted, can do just that. Imagine picking up old wooden planks or salvaged metal numbers, perhaps from a flea market or tucked away in the garage. With a bit of sanding and a coat of paint, maybe a warm terracotta or a rich forest green, they're ready to shine again. Mount them on a garden fence, porch post, or even a reclaimed piece of barn wood. Not only do these bold numbers make your home easier to find, but they also add a touch of charm and character. It's like your garden reaches out to say, "Welcome back. You're home." 4. Hand-painted doormat of joy. There's something special about the first step you take through a door. That little welcome mat, it's the first to greet you and the last to wave you goodbye. Why not make it special? With a simple coir mat, some outdoor paint, and a bit of imagination, you can create a cheerful greeting that sets the tone for your whole garden. Maybe it reads, "Welcome to our garden sanctuary," or perhaps, "Bloom where you're planted." The letters don't have to be perfect. In fact, those tiny imperfections are what make it truly yours. Set it by your entrance, where it can brush away the dust of the world and offer a smile before you even reach the door. It's a simple touch, but it reminds everyone who visits that this is more than just a garden. It's a place where memories grow. 5. Upcycled picture frame garden sign. Tucked away in the attic, covered in a layer of dust, sits an old picture frame. Maybe it once held family portraits or a landscape painting from a local fair. Now, it waits quietly for a new purpose. Imagine sanding it down, painting it a fresh color, perhaps a soft mint green or a warm sunflower yellow. Replace the glass with chalkboard, reclaimed wood, or even a corkboard, and suddenly, it's a blank canvas for inspiration. Write a simple message like, "Herb Haven," "Sunshine Garden," or even, "Whispers of Nature." Change it with the seasons, adding bits of chalk art in spring or tiny wooden hearts in the fall. Place it near your garden bed, hang it on a fence, or prop it by your favorite flower pots. Every time you pass by, it's a gentle reminder that the simplest things can carry the biggest stories. It's not just a sign, it's a piece of your heart, written in blooms and sunshine. Now that we've created entrances filled with warmth and character, it's time to wander along garden pathways, places where every step is a memory, and every stone tells a story. Join me as we discover how simple paths can lead to the most beautiful moments. Garden pathways. A garden path is more than just a way to get from one place to another, it's a journey in itself. Each step is a moment to pause, to breathe in the scent of flowers, to listen to the whisper of leaves. For those of us who have tended gardens for many seasons, pathways are a place of reflection and quiet joy. They invite us to slow down, to look closer, to notice the small wonders growing at our feet. Let's explore some simple yet beautiful ways to create garden paths that don't just lead somewhere, they tell a story. 1. Pebble and moss path. Imagine stepping onto a path made of smooth pebbles, each one cool beneath your feet, polished by time and weather. The soft touch of moss weaves between the stones, creating a lush, living carpet that seems to whisper with every step. There's something almost magical about it, like walking through a storybook garden where nature and nurture meet. To create your own, start by laying down concrete pavers or flat stones, arranging them in a gentle, meandering path. Between each stone, tuck in patches of moss or low-growing ground cover like creeping thyme. The moss will find its way into every crevice, softening the edges and adding a touch of wild beauty. And the best part? This path is as kind to the eyes as it is to your feet. No bending or heavy lifting is required, just a bit of patience and a willingness to let nature take its course. As the seasons change, so too will your pathway, a living testament to the gentle passage of time. 2. Brick poetry trail. Bricks hold history. Perhaps they once paved the way to a bustling market or lined the walls of an old farmhouse. Now, they have the chance to tell a new story, your story. With a bit of creativity, those old bricks can be transformed into a poetry trail right in your own garden. Clean off the bricks, letting their earthy red color shine through. Using outdoor paint or a permanent marker, write a single word on each brick. It could be something simple like love, hope, or peace, or perhaps the lines of a favorite poem, a cherished quote, or even your own thoughts. Lay them out along your garden path, spacing them so that each step brings a new word to life. As you walk, the trail of words unfolds beneath your feet, turning each stroll into a quiet meditation. It's not just a path, it's a conversation with the soul. 3. Painted stone markers. There's a kind of joy in finding something unexpected. Imagine wandering through your garden and discovering small, hand-painted stones, nestled between the leaves and flowers. Each one holds a message, a simple word, a plant name, or even a cheerful doodle. Collect smooth, flat stones from your walks or local garden center. Give them a good wash, then let your imagination bloom. Paint them with acrylics or use paint pens for finer details. You might write rosemary, joy, peace, or even breathe. Decorate with little flowers or soft patterns, then place them along your path, under shrubs, or around the base of your favorite tree. These tiny treasures are like whispers from the garden, gentle reminders that beauty is everywhere. You just have to look a little closer. 4. Stepping stones from old plates. Sometimes, the most unexpected things make the most beautiful moments. If you have old china tucked away, delicate plates with chipped edges or faded designs, they don't have to be hidden anymore. Instead, let them grace your garden path as stepping stones that sparkle with history. To create your own, you'll need a simple mold like a cake pan or a plant saucer. Grease it lightly with cooking spray, then pour in a layer of quick-setting concrete. While it's still wet, press the pieces of broken china into the surface, creating a mosaic of color and pattern. You might arrange them in swirling designs, floral patterns, or even simple borders. Once it's dry, pop it out of the mold and place it along your path. Each step is a reminder of the past, a cup of tea shared with friends, a family dinner, or a celebration long ago. Now, instead of gathering dust, those memories are part of your garden, living on beneath your feet. 5. Path borders from recycled glass bottles. There's a certain kind of magic that happens when sunlight dances through colored glass. If you have empty wine bottles, soda bottles, or any colored glass tucked away, why not give them a new life as path borders? Start by washing the bottles well and peeling off the labels. Bury them upside down along the edges of your garden path, pressing them gently into the soil so they stand firm. You can space them closely for a bold, shimmering look, or spread them out for a softer touch. When the sun hits the glass, the whole path lights up with color, sparkling like tiny jewels scattered along the way. It's a touch of enchantment, a reminder that even the simplest things can shine when given the chance. Now that we've walked along paths of memory and magic, it's time to create places of rest and reflection. Join me as we explore outdoor comfort, where every seat, every swing, and every shaded nook is an invitation to simply be. Outdoor comfort. A garden is not just a place to grow flowers and vegetables. It's a sanctuary, a place where time slows down and worries fade into the breeze. For those of us who've spent years tending to the earth, a garden also becomes a place of rest, a corner where the sunlight feels a little warmer, the wind whispers a little softer, and every chair holds the promise of peace. Creating outdoor comfort in your garden isn't about expensive furniture or grand designs. It's about turning simple things into little havens of joy, a place where you can relax with a cup of tea, read a good book, or simply breathe in the quiet magic of nature. Let's wander together through some beautiful ideas that transform ordinary moments into gentle memories, with a touch of senior-friendly garden tips and a sprinkle of thrifty garden solutions. 1. Cozy outdoor pillow covers. Imagine stepping out onto your porch or garden nook and being greeted by the soft embrace of cushions, each one inviting you to sit, to rest, to simply be. If your patio cushions have seen better days, don't toss them just yet. Instead, consider giving them new life with handmade pillow covers that bring color and warmth to your favorite spot. Choose weather-resistant fabric in patterns that make you smile. Soft florals, cheerful stripes, or even vintage-inspired prints. If you don't sew, no worries. You can easily wrap and tie the fabric like a gift, securing it with ribbon or twine. The result: a splash of color that brightens your small space garden ideas and a soft place to rest after a day of planting. Set them on your garden bench, lay them across your favorite chair, or even prop them up against a tree trunk where you can lean back, sip your morning tea, and listen to the birds welcome the day. It's comfort, it's beauty, and it's all yours, a perfect touch for backyard ideas for seniors. 2. Patterned beach towels for instant charm. There's something delightful about a garden that feels lived in, isn't there? A place where every corner is touched by comfort. One simple way to add that cozy feeling is by draping bright, patterned beach towels over your outdoor loungers or benches. Choose towels with bold florals, vibrant stripes, or even soft pastels that mirror the blooms in your garden. Not only do they add a splash of joy, but they also protect your cushions from the sun and dust. And if you find yourself resting under the shade of a tree with a good book, that towel becomes the perfect blanket when the breeze picks up. It's a thrifty garden solution that transforms a simple bench into a place of rest and reflection. Because sometimes, comfort is as easy as laying down a soft, colorful reminder of summer days. 3. Upcycled crate coffee table. Tucked away in the shed or piled in the corner of the garage, old wooden crates often sit forgotten, gathering dust. But with a bit of imagination, they can become the centerpiece of your DIY garden decor. Picture it, a rustic coffee table that holds your favorite books, a pot of fresh herbs, and a cup of tea as you relax in the afternoon sun. All it takes is a good sanding, perhaps a coat of paint or wood stain, and a little love. Flip the crate on its side, add a sturdy top if you like, and you have a charming, upcycled garden project. For even more convenience, attach small wheels to the bottom. Perfect for moving it around without heavy lifting. Top it with a vintage tray, a couple of candles, and a vase of wildflowers, and you've got yourself a piece of garden furniture that's not just practical, but full of heart. It's a reminder that even the simplest things can be transformed into something beautiful, perfect for sustainable gardening tips. 4. Curtains from old bed sheets. Sometimes, the simplest spaces become the most magical with just a little softness. If you have old bed sheets tucked away in a closet, why not bring them out into the sunshine? With a bit of creativity, those soft linens can become flowing garden curtains that add privacy and elegance to your favorite outdoor nook. All you need is a clothesline or a tension rod stretched between two posts or trees. Hang the fabric with clothespins or curtain rings, and just like that, you have a shaded retreat where the sun is filtered through gentle waves of fabric. Light colors work best: creamy whites, soft florals, or gentle pastels that sway with the breeze. It's the perfect place to sit with a book, a cup of tea, and the gentle rustling of fabric as your only company. An easy garden craft that turns your porch into a peaceful retreat, where the worries of the day are left behind. 5. Rustic swing from a wooden plank. There are few things in life more timeless than a garden swing. Just the sight of one swaying gently under a shady tree brings back memories of childhood laughter and lazy summer days. And the best part? You don't need much to make one, just a sturdy plank of wood, thick rope, and a strong branch to hold it steady. Sand down the plank until it's smooth to the touch, then drill 2 holes at each end. Thread through the rope, tying secure knots underneath. Hang it from your favorite tree, one that's seen seasons change and stood through every storm. This isn't just a swing, it's a place to pause, to watch the butterflies dance between flowers, to listen to the whisper of leaves overhead. It's where you can sit with a cool drink on a warm day, feeling the gentle sway of time. It's a reminder that sometimes the simplest things bring the deepest joy, a perfect addition to senior lifestyle DIY. Now that we've created spaces of rest and reflection, it's time to turn our gaze upward. Join me as we explore hanging beauty, a journey into the delicate dance of wind chimes, floating flowers, and suspended magic that brings life to the air above. There's something magical about looking up and seeing beauty floating above you. In the garden, it's not just the soil that holds life. Sometimes, it's the air itself. Hanging planters, swaying chimes, and delicate displays turn even the simplest spaces into something extraordinary. Let's explore the gentle charm of hanging beauty, where every breeze brings a touch of movement and life to your garden. 1. Hanging wooden tiers. Sometimes, the best displays are those that reach for the sky. If you have a few old wooden boards and some sturdy rope, you can create your own hanging tiered garden. This upcycled garden project is perfect for small spaces, adding vertical greenery that sways gently with the wind. Drill holes in each corner of the boards, string the rope through, and tie secure knots beneath each level. Hang it from a strong tree branch, a pergola beam, or even a balcony hook. You can fill each tier with small pots of herbs, bright flowers, or even cascading ivy. As the wind moves through, the plants seem to dance in mid-air, casting soft shadows on the ground below. It's a gentle reminder that beauty doesn't always have to be grounded. Sometimes, it can float. 2. Upcycled glass bottle wind chimes. There's a soft music that only a garden can create. The rustling of leaves, the whisper of petals, and the delicate clink of glass catching the wind. If you have a collection of empty glass bottles, wine, soda, or even olive oil, don't throw them away. With a little creativity, you can turn them into wind chimes that bring music to your garden. Start by washing the bottles and removing the labels. If you're feeling adventurous, you can use a glass cutter to remove the bottoms, or simply leave them whole for a more rustic look. Hang them with twine or wire from a piece of driftwood or a sturdy tree branch. When the breeze passes through, the glass sings, a soft melody that dances through the garden paths. It's recycled garden decor that not only adds charm but also a touch of gentle music to your outdoor space. 3. Vintage key wind chimes. Keys hold memories. Some open doors to childhood homes, others to secret drawers or forgotten sheds. When those keys are no longer needed, they don't have to be lost. Instead, turn them into wind chimes that sing with every gust of wind. Collect a handful of old keys, maybe from that drawer where odds and ends seem to gather. Tie each one with fishing line or twine to a piece of driftwood or a rustic branch. Let them hang at different lengths so that when the wind blows, they softly clink against each other. The sound is gentle, like whispers from the past, each note carrying the echo of where those keys have been. It's creative gardening for seniors, turning memories into music right in your own backyard. 4. Colander planters. Sometimes, the most unexpected things make the best planters. If you have an old metal colander tucked away in the back of a cupboard, it's time to bring it into the garden. With its built-in drainage and sturdy handles, a colander is the perfect upcycled garden decor piece. Line the inside with coconut coir, burlap, or even a coffee filter to hold the soil in place. Fill it with potting mix and add your favorite flowers, pansies, petunias, or even strawberries. Hang it from a hook on your porch, a tree branch, or a garden arch. As the flowers bloom and spill over the edges, the colander becomes a floating garden, a touch of whimsy that turns the ordinary into something special. 5. Hanging teacup bird feeder. There's something delightfully charming about a teacup hanging from a tree branch, cradling a bit of birdseed for your feathered friends. If you have an old teacup and saucer that's too pretty to throw away but too chipped to use, why not give it a second life? Simply glue the cup to the saucer at a slight angle, so the seeds don't spill out. Drill a small hole in the saucer, thread a bit of strong twine or wire through it, and hang it from a tree limb or garden hook. Fill the cup with birdseed and watch as sparrows, finches, and even the occasional robin stop by for a snack. It's a gentle reminder that sometimes the smallest gestures, a bit of seed in a teacup, can bring life and joy to your garden. Now that we've filled the air with gentle movement and soft whispers, it's time to turn our attention to the evening hours. Join me as we explore garden lighting, where soft glows and delicate lanterns make the garden come alive after the sun dips below the horizon. Garden lighting. As the sun dips below the horizon and the last light of day softens into twilight, the garden transforms. Shadows stretch, leaves rustle softly, and the air cools with the promise of evening. But just because the sun has set doesn't mean the beauty of your garden must fade. With a few simple touches, you can bring gentle light to your pathways, cozy corners, and blooming beds, creating a place where memories shine as bright as the stars. 1. Hand-poured candles in vintage tins. There's something undeniably magical about candlelight. Its flicker is soft and inviting, casting warm glows that dance in the evening breeze. And the best part? You can make your own with just a few simple materials and a bit of imagination. If you have old tins, perhaps ones that once held biscuits or candies, don't toss them away. Clean them out, melt some leftover candle wax or buy a few wax pellets, and pour it into the tins with a wick in the center. Once the wax sets, you have beautifully rustic candles, perfect for lighting up your garden table or lining a stone pathway. The warm light flickers off the metal edges, creating soft reflections that shimmer like stars. Place them on steps, along benches, or even nestled among flower pots. It's a simple project that adds both charm and a touch of nostalgia to your outdoor space. 2. Metal geometric candle holders. For those who love a touch of modern elegance, metal geometric candle holders are the perfect addition. Their open frames cast intricate shadows, turning even the plainest garden corner into a work of art. You can often find these holders at thrift stores or create your own from repurposed wire frames, a brilliant way to upcycle old items and breathe new life into forgotten materials. Set a candle or LED light inside, and watch as the shadows dance across your garden walls and pathways, creating a gentle play of light and dark. Place them on your outdoor table during evening gatherings or hang them from tree branches for a floating effect. These candle holders not only illuminate your space but also add a touch of artistic flair that speaks to your garden's unique character. 3. Dip-dyed fabric placemats for evening tea. There's something special about setting a table in the garden, a place where you can sip tea, share a meal, or simply enjoy the quiet of the evening. To make it even more charming, consider adding dip-dyed fabric placemats that bring a splash of color to your outdoor table. You don't need to be an artist for this. Take some old napkins, placemats, or even cloth scraps and dip them halfway into a fabric dye bath. Let the color fade naturally toward the top, creating a soft ombre effect that mirrors the hues of dusk. Let them dry, press them flat, and you've got a beautiful addition to your table setting. Lay them out under flickering candlelight, and watch as the colors deepen and glow in the soft evening light. It's a simple craft that turns ordinary dinners into enchanted moments. 4. String lights between trees. There's just something magical about string lights, isn't there? Draped between two sturdy branches or along the edge of a fence, they turn an ordinary garden into a starlit retreat. The soft glow they cast transforms familiar paths into gentle trails and everyday corners into places of reflection. Solar-powered string lights are perfect for this. They require no wires or outlets, charging in the sunlight during the day and glowing softly at night. Hang them loosely between tree branches or along a pergola beam, and let the gentle light guide you on warm summer evenings. It's senior-friendly garden decor that's easy to set up, requires no heavy lifting, and brings a touch of magic to the twilight hours. 5. Lanterns from tin cans. Before you toss those empty soup or coffee cans, take a moment to imagine them as delicate lanterns, casting warm light across your garden. It's an upcycled garden project that's both simple and beautiful. Give the cans a good wash, then fill them with water and freeze overnight. This keeps the metal from bending when you work with it. Use a hammer and nail to punch small holes in patterns, stars, flowers, or even your initials. Once the ice melts, you're left with a charming tin lantern. Place a candle or LED light inside, and watch as the light spills out in delicate patterns, casting playful shadows on the ground. Line them up along a garden path, place them on your porch steps, or hang them from tree branches for a floating glow. It's a beautiful way to bring warmth into the night using something you might have thrown away. Now that the garden is gently glowing with the soft light of evening, it's time to add even more personality to your space. Join me as we explore planters with personality, unique, upcycled ideas that bring color and charm to every corner of your garden. Planters with personality. A garden is like an open canvas, and every planter is a brushstroke that adds color, life, and personality to its landscape. But planters don't have to be brand new or store-bought. In fact, some of the most beautiful and meaningful planters are those made from things that once served a different purpose. With a touch of creativity, these upcycled garden projects bring not only charm but also a sense of history and memory to your outdoor space. 1. Wooden planter boxes from old drawers. If you've got an old drawer tucked away, perhaps from a dresser that's seen better days, don't let it gather dust. With just a little imagination, that wooden box can transform into a beautiful, rustic planter that brings life to your garden. Start by sanding down the wood and giving it a fresh coat of paint, soft sage green, sunflower yellow, or even classic white. Drill a few drainage holes in the bottom, line it with landscape fabric, and fill it with rich potting soil. Plant herbs, bright flowers, or even a tiny vegetable patch. Set it on your porch, along your garden path, or even hang it from a sturdy fence. That simple drawer, once hidden away, now becomes a charming addition to your garden, full of life and blooming with character. It's a garden upcycling idea that adds warmth and personality to any space. 2. Wrought iron ivy tower from old plant stands. Old plant stands and metal frames often sit forgotten in sheds and garages, gathering dust and rust. But with a bit of creativity, they can be transformed into stunning ivy towers that bring height and elegance to your garden. If you have an old metal stand or even the frame of a broken floor lamp, bring it out into the light. Clean it up, perhaps add a touch of weatherproof paint, and plant ivy or climbing roses at its base. As the vines grow, they'll wrap around the iron, filling the spaces with lush green leaves and delicate blooms. Place it at the entrance of your garden or as a centerpiece among your flower beds. Not only does it add vertical beauty, but it also brings that touch of vintage charm that whispers of gardens long ago. It's creative gardening for seniors, elegant, simple, and timeless. 3. Geometric matte planters. If you appreciate clean lines and modern design, geometric matte planters are the perfect touch for your outdoor sanctuary. And the best part? You can make them yourself from leftover concrete or by painting old pots in bold, blocky patterns. Choose shapes that speak to you: triangles, hexagons, or simple stripes. A soft gray, mossy green, or dusty blue in a matte finish gives it that elegant, modern touch. Arrange them on your patio, along the steps, or in clusters near your favorite seating area. Not only do these planters add a contemporary flair, but they also make it easy to tend to your plants, especially if bending and lifting have become a little harder over the years. It's a senior-friendly garden tip that blends style with practicality. 4. Terracotta pots wrapped with colorful rope. There's something so timeless about terracotta. Its earthy tones and simple shape fit beautifully into any garden. But sometimes, a bit of color can bring new life to the classics. If you have old terracotta pots lying around, consider wrapping them with colorful rope or twine. All you need is a bit of glue, some sturdy twine or cotton rope, and a little patience. Begin at the base, adding a dot of glue every few inches as you wrap your way up. You can use bright colors for a cheerful look or natural tones for a rustic feel. Not only does this DIY garden decor protect your pots from cracking, but it also adds texture and a handmade touch that feels uniquely yours. Line them up along your garden path, fill them with lavender or rosemary, and watch them bloom with charm. 5. Burlap-wrapped pots with twine. If you love that cozy, farmhouse style, burlap-wrapped pots are the perfect addition to your garden. It's a simple yet beautiful way to dress up plain clay or plastic pots, giving them a warm, rustic look. To create your own, take a strip of burlap and wrap it around the outside of your pot. Secure it with a bit of twine or ribbon, tying a simple knot or even a small bow. For an extra touch, you can add a dried flower, a tiny wooden button, or a handwritten tag that says, "Herbs of Happiness," or "Sunshine in Bloom." These pots look lovely on steps, windowsills, or tabletops, bringing a touch of softness and handmade charm to your outdoor space. It's repurposed garden decor that's not only easy to make, but also incredibly welcoming. Now that we've explored planters that breathe new life into old treasures, it's time to create tiny worlds of magic. Join me as we explore tiny treasures, delightful tabletop gardens, and miniature displays that prove even the smallest space can hold boundless beauty. Not every garden joy has to be grand. In fact, some of the most magical moments come from the tiniest corners: a sunny windowsill, a cozy tabletop, or a small nook by the porch. These little treasures bring life and beauty to even the smallest spaces, proving that it's not about size, but about heart. Let's explore some gentle ideas that make every inch of your garden bloom with love and charm. 1. Mini succulent dish garden. If you've ever held a tiny succulent in your hand, you know that even the smallest plant can bring a smile. With their plump leaves and perfect little shapes, succulents are ideal for creating miniature dish gardens. All you need is a shallow bowl, an old pie plate, or even a wide teacup, any small container that catches your eye. Begin by adding a layer of small stones for drainage, then top it with cactus soil. Choose a few tiny succulents like rosettes, string of pearls, or even a touch of moss. You can decorate the surface with little pebbles, seashells, or a tiny figurine if you'd like. These small space garden ideas are perfect for a kitchen windowsill, a coffee table centerpiece, or even a tiny nook on your balcony. It's a miniature world, tended with love and just a bit of water. A gentle reminder that even the smallest things can hold big beauty. 2. Mason jar wildflower centerpiece. There's nothing quite like the simplicity of wildflowers. Their colors, their wildness, the way they sway in the breeze, it's pure magic. And with just a simple mason jar, you can bring that beauty right to your table. Grab a clean jar, clear or tinted, whatever you have. Take a stroll through your garden or a nearby field and snip a few blooms: daisies, lavender, Queen Anne's lace, or anything that catches your eye. Don't worry about arranging them perfectly. Let them be wild and free. Tie a bit of twine or a ribbon around the neck of the jar, place it on your garden table or windowsill, and you've got yourself a centerpiece that's as fresh as a summer morning. It's an upcycled garden idea that costs nothing but brings endless joy. 3. Bird bath from an old basin and stool. If you want to invite a bit more life into your garden, why not create a charming bird bath using things you already have? An old basin or enamel bowl, paired with a short wooden stool or plant stand, is all you need. Simply set the basin on the stool, no tools required. Fill it with fresh water and add a few smooth pebbles for the birds to perch on. Place it somewhere shady and peaceful, and watch as your feathered friends come for a drink or a splash. It's a simple touch that brings life and movement to your garden, creating moments of joy as you sip your morning tea and listen to their cheerful songs. This is gardening with limited mobility at its finest, easy to set up, easy to maintain, and endlessly rewarding. 4. Fairy garden in a broken pot. Before you toss that cracked or broken flower pot, think again. It might just be the perfect home for a miniature fairy garden. With a bit of imagination, you can turn those broken pieces into tiny terraces, steps, and walls that look like something out of a storybook. Start by stacking the broken shards to create little levels inside the pot. Fill each section with potting soil, tiny succulents, or soft moss. Add a pebble path, a miniature bench, or even a tiny fairy house. You can find little decorations at garden stores or even make your own. Place it in a garden bed, on your porch, or right by your favorite reading chair. It's like having a storybook tucked into your flowers, a secret world waiting to be discovered. And the best part? Every time someone finds it, they smile and maybe imagine a bit of magic, too. 5. Painted muffin tin seed starter. Who says seed starters have to be plain? That old muffin tin sitting in your cupboard could be the beginning of your next growing adventure. Give it a good wash, and if you like, paint the outside with cheerful colors or floral patterns, something that makes you smile each time you see it. Fill each cup with potting mix, drop in a few seeds, and give them a gentle watering. Place the tin on a sunny windowsill, and in no time, you'll see little green shoots peeking through. Herbs, lettuce, marigolds, they all start small, but with a little care, they grow strong. It's thrifty garden decor that turns something ordinary into something truly special. A simple muffin tin becomes a tiny nursery for new life, right in your own kitchen. Now that we've uncovered these tiny treasures and hidden wonders, it's time to bring everything together. Join me as we step back and look at how these little touches create a garden that isn't just full of plants, it's full of heart and history. Welcome to Garden Stories, where each corner has its own tale to tell. Garden Stories. Every garden has a story. Sometimes, it's written in the petals of a flower that blooms year after year. Other times, it's hidden in the creak of an old gate or the soft sway of a wind chime. Gardens hold memories, of seasons past, of hands that once planted, and of moments shared under the shade of a favorite tree. In this section, we'll explore how to weave those stories into the very fabric of your garden. Through gentle upcycling and a bit of imagination, we'll create spaces that don't just grow, they remember. 1. Vintage ladder plant stand. There's something magical about a well-loved ladder, its rungs worn smooth from years of use. Maybe it once stood in a bustling workshop or helped paint the walls of a family home. Now, with a touch of creativity, it can become a beautiful plant stand, brimming with life and history. To create your own, find an old wooden ladder, the kind that still creaks when you open it. Give it a light sanding, maybe a coat of protective paint, and lean it against a sunny wall or place it in the garden. Each step becomes a shelf for potted plants, lavender in weathered clay pots, trailing ivy that spills over the edges, and bright marigolds that greet the sun. It's upcycled garden decor at its finest, turning something simple into a tiered display of color and growth. And every time you water those plants, you're adding a new chapter to its story. 2. Repurposed window frame trellis. Old window frames hold more than glass and wood. They hold memories of gazing out into the world, of watching seasons change and life unfold. If you have one tucked away, why not bring it into your garden as a trellis? Clean it up, maybe add a bit of fresh paint if it's chipping, and anchor it firmly in your garden bed. Plant climbing roses, morning glories, or sweet peas at its base, and watch as they wind their way up the frame, blooming through each pane like little bursts of joy. This recycled garden idea adds height and elegance, turning a simple patch of soil into a window of blooms. It's not just decoration, it's a memory, gently intertwined with petals and leaves. 3. Rustic shutter garden shelf. If you've ever replaced old shutters, you know how beautifully worn they can be. The layers of paint, the slight creak of the slats, they speak of years gone by. But rather than sending them away, why not give them a second life in your garden? Mount a pair of wooden shutters to an outdoor wall, adding small wooden shelves between the slats. These become the perfect place for potted herbs, tiny succulents, or even jars of wildflowers. It's DIY garden decor that not only looks charming but brings a bit of vertical greenery to your space. Hang a few gardening tools from the edges, maybe add a hand-painted sign that reads, "Garden of Memories." Each time you step outside, those shutters greet you like an old friend, one that still has stories to tell. 4. Repurposed wooden crate herb garden. Wooden crates have carried apples, bottles of milk, and countless other treasures over the years. Their sturdy frames and rustic look make them perfect for herb gardens, especially if you're working with a small space. Start by sanding the wood lightly and adding a layer of protective sealant to withstand the weather. Drill a few drainage holes in the bottom, fill it with rich soil, and plant your favorite herbs, basil, rosemary, thyme, and maybe a touch of mint for good measure. Line them up along your porch steps or stack them against a sunny wall. Not only do they make harvesting easy, but they also add a touch of rustic charm that feels timeless. It's upcycled garden decor that's both practical and beautiful. 5. Garden gate of memories. There's something special about a garden gate. It's the first step into a world of blooms and greenery, a gentle invitation to leave the worries of the world behind. If you have an old gate leaning against the back of your shed, don't let it rust away. Bring it back to life as the entrance to your secret garden. Clean it up, paint it if you wish, and anchor it between 2 posts or directly into your fence line. Drape it with climbing roses or morning glories, and watch as it transforms into a blooming archway. For an extra touch of magic, consider hanging small signs or chimes from its frame, little whispers of welcome that greet every guest. It's a garden upcycling idea that turns something forgotten into something unforgettable. Now that we've brought the magic of memories back to life, it's time to add finishing touches, little elements that whisper stories and bring your garden to life. Join me as we explore finishing touches, where the smallest details create the biggest smiles. Every masterpiece needs its final brushstrokes, those small, delicate touches that turn something lovely into something unforgettable. In the garden, it's the little things that breathe life into every corner. The gentle tinkle of a wind chime, the glow of lantern light on a summer evening, or the soft sway of ribbons tied to a fence post. These finishing touches are what make your garden feel truly yours, a place not just of growth, but of soul and spirit. 1. Painted rock garden markers. There's a certain charm in simple things, like the soft weight of a smooth stone resting in the garden. But these stones can be more than just decorations, they can be storytellers. With a bit of paint and imagination, you can turn ordinary rocks into garden markers that whisper the names of the plants they protect. Collect flat, smooth stones from your walks or even your own garden beds. Give them a good wash and let them dry completely. Then, using acrylic paints, write the names of your herbs, flowers, or vegetables: rosemary, thyme, lavender, basil. You can even add a tiny illustration if you're feeling creative, a sprig of leaves or a tiny flower bloom. Place them at the base of your plants or along your garden path. Not only do they help identify your greenery, but they also add a personal touch that feels warm and inviting. It's recycled garden decor that turns something simple into something special. 2. Twine-wrapped mason jar lanterns. As evening falls and the sun dips below the horizon, there's nothing quite like the soft glow of lantern light flickering in the garden. Mason jars, with their timeless charm, are perfect for creating gentle outdoor lighting that's both beautiful and practical. Start with clean mason jars, the kind you might have stored away in a cupboard. Wrap the tops with twine or jute rope, adding a little bow or a few beads for decoration. Pop a tea light or small LED candle inside, and you've got yourself a rustic lantern. Hang them from low tree branches, line them up along your garden path, or place them on your patio table for soft, ambient light. It's a thrifty garden solution that brings warmth to every twilight moment. 3. Ribbon-wrapped flower stakes. Garden stakes are often purely functional, marking where bulbs are planted or holding up tall blooms. But with just a bit of ribbon, they can become part of the decoration themselves. Choose soft pastels or bright florals, whatever colors bring you joy, and wrap them around the stakes in swirling patterns. Secure the ends with a dab of glue or a small knot, and place them gently in your flower beds. As the wind passes through, the ribbons catch the breeze, adding movement and life to your garden. It's a simple touch, but it brings a softness that's hard to find in anything store-bought. 4. Vintage spoon garden labels. There's a certain charm in the worn handles of old silverware, the kind passed down through generations or found at a flea market, glimmering with stories untold. Those vintage spoons, with just a touch of creativity, can become elegant garden labels. Take a few old spoons, clean them thoroughly, and use a metal stamp kit or even a strong permanent marker to inscribe the names of your plants. Mint, parsley, dill, sage. Press each letter firmly, letting the metal hold the name like a gentle whisper. Press the spoons into the soil near each plant, their handles catching the sunlight, reflecting memories of shared meals and laughter. It's repurposed garden decor that's as beautiful as it is practical. 5. Wind chime from recycled cutlery. There's music in the garden, not just from birds and leaves, but from gentle whispers of wind through chimes. If you have old cutlery, forks, spoons, or even small ladles, they can be transformed into a melodic wind chime that catches every breeze. Gather a few pieces of cutlery and a sturdy branch or wooden ring. Drill small holes into the handles and thread them with fishing line or strong twine. Secure them to the branch, spacing them so they lightly touch. When the wind sweeps through, you'll hear the soft, tinkling melody of metal against metal, a song that's unique to your garden. Hang it from a tree branch or by your porch, where its music can drift through the air, turning simple moments into something magical. It's creative gardening for seniors, adding a touch of whimsy and memory to every gust of wind. Now that every corner is adorned with gentle touches and sweet whispers of creativity, it's time to take a step back and admire the masterpiece you've created. Join me as we wrap up this journey with closing reflections, a heartfelt celebration of how the simplest things, touched by love and imagination, can turn a garden into a living story. Closing reflections. And there you have it, dear friends, 35 simple yet soulful ways to breathe new life into forgotten things, transforming them into treasures that fill your garden with heart and history. From tiny teacup bird feeders to rustic swings under shady trees, each project holds a whisper of the past and a promise of new memories to come. Gardening isn't just about growing flowers and vegetables. It's about nurturing moments, tending to memories, and finding beauty in the smallest of things. An old mailbox, a chipped teacup, a cracked flower pot, these aren't just items, they're stories waiting to be told again. And with a little creativity, they bloom just as brightly as the flowers around them. As you wander through your garden, may you find joy not just in what grows, but in what is remembered. May each step along your pebble path be a walk through time, each planter a nod to days gone by, and each gentle wind chime a whisper of peace. If this journey through upcycled beauty has brought you even a touch of inspiration, I hope you'll join us again. Here at Meaningful Living, we believe that every season holds its own kind of magic, and every old thing has the chance to bloom again. So go on, step outside, breathe in the sweet air, and look around. There's beauty to be found in every cracked pot, every rusty gate, and every memory tucked away in the corners of your garden. Because in a world that sometimes moves too fast, there's still time to stop, to breathe, and to create something beautiful, right in your own backyard.